Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Tom Corr, President and CEO of Ontario Centres of Excellence, and I will be your Master of Ceremonies for the next 2 days. It is my great pleasure to welcome you to Discovery, Canada's premier innovation showcase. We are especially pleased and honoured that we are joined again this year by the Honourable Kathleen Wynne, Premier of Ontario, who will be formally introduced to you shortly by our Board Chair, Michael Nobrega. I would also like to extend a special welcome to Discovery to all our colleagues from the Ontario Network of Entrepreneurs, commonly referred to as ONE, including our partners from the Regional Innovation Centres, the Small Business Enterprise Centres, and the universities, college and research hospitals. We are pleased as well that so many representatives of industry are participating in this year's Discovery. This includes both SMEs and large companies, many of whom are represented in our B2B sessions, a new feature at this year's conference that gives companies with an innovative technology or service a chance to pitch directly to a large company. Discovery is also engaging industry through 2 business roundtables that were held this morning that focus on challenges and solutions related to reducing greenhouse gas emissions. Earlier this year, the Ontario government asked OCE to manage a new $74 million greenhouse gas initiative. These roundtable sessions begin an essential dialogue on a matter of great concern to all Canadians and help carve a path toward meeting Ontario's emission reduction target, which is 37% below 1990 levels by 2030. As you will soon see, there is no better representation of our province's relentless commitment towards innovation than this year's Discovery show floor. It has a record number of exhibits and attendees, including over 160 young entrepreneur exhibitors from our campus-linked accelerators, on-campus entrepreneurship activities, and Smart Start programs. You might ask, how is Ontario measuring up overall when it comes to innovation? There is no way to easily capture or sum up the magnitude, importance and impact of the surge of innovation we have seen in Ontario over the past decade. A few months ago, the Conference Board of Canada released its latest How Canada Performs report on innovation. For the first time, it included the performance of individual provinces, and Ontario finished first in Canada. There is every reason, yes, please, a hand. There is every reason to believe that we are headed toward an even brighter future. We are already seeing signs of the momentum that is being created as our new federal government seeks partnering opportunities with the provinces to drive innovation. This new spirit of cooperation between the 2 levels of government and the federal government's commitment to spend $800 million over the next 4 years to support innovation clusters and networks across the country opens up tremendous opportunities for Ontario to join with our federal partners to support innovative solutions to some of our most urgent challenges in areas such as climate change, cybersecurity, and transportation. At the same time, there is a growing understanding that increasing our economic might and global competitiveness depends upon zeroing in on the strengths as a province and a country and building upon those strengths. Our governments are increasingly seeking to identify and invest in sector-specific strategies and clusters while also leveraging our strongest attributes. Some of these attributes include our exceptional talent, research expertise, technical savvy, deep networks of entrepreneurs and SMEs, and an unmatched spirit of collaboration that enables us to punch well above our weight when it comes to producing innovative products and services and competing for global markets. You will see a great deal of evidence of this over the next 2 days at Discovery. This year, as we celebrate our 11th Discovery, we bring you 2 world-class keynotes, simulating panel discussions, high-stakes competitions, and an unparalleled showcase of exciting new technologies. This includes a highly distinguished panel to discuss how the futuristic technology of autonomous vehicles is becoming a reality, moderated by Ray Tanguay and featuring panelists Stephen Carlisle, Saeed Habibi, Patrick Horgan, Caroline Hughes, and Don Romano. This panel will take place immediately following the opening keynote. We are also delighted to welcome to Discovery Keoki Jackson, CTO of Lockheed Martin, joining us from Lockheed's corporate headquarters in Maryland. I would like to extend a special welcome to our colleagues from Alberta who are attending the Discovery Conference today. I, like many in our audience today, have friends and family in your great province. Our hearts are with those who have been affected by the terrible tragedy in Fort McMurray, and we have provided information on the screen for how to make a donation if you haven't had a chance yet to do so. Whether you're looking for investors, new partners, new customers, career contacts, or some expert advice on mentoring, you've come to the right place. Thank you for being part of what promises to be once again a valuable and memorable experience. Please sign on to your social media accounts and let your followers know what's going on at Discovery by using the hashtag OCEDiscovery. Enjoy the next 2 days. I would like to now ask OCE's Board Chair, Michael Nobrega, to come forward and say a few words.
Good afternoon, everyone, and it's my great pleasure to join Tom in welcoming you to this year's Discovery. I look forward every year to exploring the floor to see what's next in innovation and experiencing the excitement and high energy of Ontario's innovation community. When Ontario established the One Network, it was a major and forward-looking step. The One is the foundation of the province's strong entrepreneurial culture. Our innovation community has expanded and grown even stronger in the last few years with the province's investment in campus-based programs at universities and colleges. The scale and intensity of activity on the OCE's campus entrepreneurship programs run on behalf of the province have exceeded expectations, with students asking to participate in record numbers. In just 2 years, close to 1,000 startups have received expert guidance and/or financial support. This vast network of campus programs is tightly integrated in the province's existing entrepreneurial ecosystem of regional innovation centers, small business enterprise centers, and accelerators. It's important that we recognize and celebrate the rich resources and support that the province has invested in creating a world-class innovation system. I'm looking forward to introducing the Premier Wynne a bit later this afternoon and to thank her for her support for the innovation system. At this time, I would also like to express my thanks to Minister Moridi, Minister of Research and Innovation, and Minister Brad Dogood, Minister of Economic Development, Employment, and Infrastructure. Thanks as well to Deputy Minister Giles Gerson and Assistant Deputy Minister Bill Mantell and the rest of their exceptional team. You've all done a wonderful job in fostering a strong innovation ecosystem in Ontario. I'm now so pleased to introduce the Honourable Kathleen Wynne, Premier of Ontario. Premier Wynne's commitments, stated from the outset of her election as Premier, has been to engage the people of Ontario, to collaborate and to innovate. She has shown through her actions that she strongly supports innovation as the path to the future that will fortify our economy. She has been proactive in helping to open market opportunities for Ontario, leading trade missions to China in the fall of 2015 and to India earlier this year. Our government has also invested heavily in innovation through its support for development of clean tech, smart computing, and technologies for the next generation of transportation systems. This is the third time she has attended Discovery and seen firsthand some of the amazing new technologies and innovations coming out of our sectors of the economy across Ontario. We are fortunate to have a Premier who has continually demonstrated her commitment to building an innovative, dynamic business environment to grow the economy, create jobs, and build a higher quality of life for the people of Ontario. Please join me in welcoming our Premier, Kathleen Wynne.
Thank you very much, Michael, and it's a great pleasure to be here with all of you. Good afternoon, bonjour, Ani, and I just want to say to Spencer, I have had to speak after you before. It's not fair. I'm just saying. You're an inspiration to everyone, and thank you very much, Spencer. And I want to begin by showing respect for the long history of Indigenous peoples in Ontario by acknowledging that we're on the sacred and traditional territory of several peoples of Turtle Island. Nous sommes rassemblés sur le territoire traditionnel des Mississauga of the New Credit. It's great to be back at another Ontario Centres of Excellence Discovery Conference. Comme il est magnifique d'être ici aujourd'hui à Découverte 16. To help open this year's conference, I want to talk about building and what it is we are building here in Ontario. In the context of our government's four-part economic plan and our top priority, which is economic growth that creates good jobs, I want to talk about exactly what we're building together with all of you, Ontario's innovators and entrepreneurs. And I want to tell you why your success is so important to me. Now, as you've probably noticed, we politicians have a sort of awkward tendency to talk effusively and frequently about innovation without ever really defining it. And when we make innovation mean whatever we want it to mean, then the word actually loses meaning. So I'm going to start there with a recent op-ed by incoming president of Brock University, Wendy Kukier, who wrote, and I quote, "Innovation is not simply the creation of new products, services, or processes, but about using them to drive change," unquote. So I like this definition, and I think that it's one that we can all agree on. But defining innovation is one thing. Making it happen is much harder. And we know this because we've been working at it for decades. This government report, which is just showing on the screen, which is called Ontario 2000, is more than 30 years old. Now, I know you can't read the words on that report, but I just wanted you to get the idea. It outlines the ways a changing, globalizing economy and advancing technology represent threats and opportunities for Ontario. And it provides guidance to help the province adapt to the information economy of the future. That future has obviously arrived, and I'm looking out at it right now. But it's interesting to note the similarities between the 30-year-old report and the challenges that we talk about today. The observation, for example, that past sources of growth will not sustain our future prosperity. The relatively longer time it takes for Canadian industries to make capital investments and actually adapt innovations. The relative scarcity of risk capital, an over-reliance on trade with America, or the conclusion that people's talent and skills need to become our biggest competitive advantage. You've all heard those things in the current context. So even as we continue addressing these areas, we can acknowledge that, by and large, Ontario has risen to meet the challenges outlined in this report, and most of this progress has been quite recent. L'Ontario n'a ménagé aucun effort pour instaurer un esprit d'entreprise et d'innovation. Au cours de la dernière décennie, nous avons fait des progrès impressionnants. Ontario ranks #1 for innovation in Canada and 5th globally. Since 2004, our high school grad rate has increased by 17 percentage points, and our post-secondary attainment rate is higher than that of any OECD country. Since 2009, our risk capital has helped us move up 6 spots in North America's venture capital ranking. And last year, we attracted the most VC and the most foreign capital investment in all of Canada. A full 33% of our people have a bachelor's degree level education or higher. So, in short, we get it. We get what those concerns were and how we needed to tackle them. Our incubators and accelerators are ranked among the top in the world, as we're the startup ecosystems of Toronto, Waterloo, and Ottawa. And in 2014-15, the Ontario Network of Entrepreneurs helped launch more than 6,000 new businesses. We know that entrepreneurs and new technologies are absolutely critical to Ontario's continued success, and we know how to support researchers and entrepreneurs at every stage so that ideas can lead to commercialization and then become real innovations that drive real change. And by knowing all of that, we also know that to support you and to help you grow, there is still more that we have to do. There's much more that still needs to be done. Particularly with the challenges ahead, I won't be able to deliver on my top priority of growth and creating good jobs if we're not actively building on our strengths as a startup province of innovators and entrepreneurs. So, just quickly, a few challenges. In 2014, Ontario met its first greenhouse gas emission target. We emitted 6% less than in 1990. By 2050, our target is 80% below 1990 pollution levels. It means transformative changes are needed into the way that we work and that we live and that we move around. Pour enrayer le changement climatique et continuer à favoriser l'emploi et la croissance, nous nous tournons vers nous, les innovateurs et les agents de changement. And as we lose export market share to the U.S. to places like China and India, we need to ensure we're diversifying our trading partners and increasing our global exports. These challenges are all interconnected. They're connected to each other, to our economy, and to our quality of life. And it's why our government's 4-part economic plan invests in growth by building record amounts of modern infrastructure. It's by building people's talent and skills and making post-secondary education more accessible for everyone, by building an innovative, competitive, low-carbon business environment that supports the growth of export-oriented firms, and by building better retirement security for millions of workers. That's why our plan is designed the way it is. Those are the fundamentals. But if we look closer at exactly how we're building a low-carbon, innovative business environment, you can begin to see how our government's approach is a critical ingredient for your success. Take auto. Our mature, diverse auto sector and the capacity we've built as information and communications technology leaders combine to give Ontario a very real opportunity to design and build tomorrow's low-carbon autonomous vehicles. And it's why on January 1st, we came out with a forward-looking regulation that enables the testing of autonomous vehicles on our roads, becoming the first province to do so. By the same token, we've worked with Airbnb and other disruptors to ensure that Ontario is embracing, not resisting, these new ways of creating jobs and growth. And we know we can help lead a transportation revolution because we've done it before. If you look at our past, 100 years ago, Oshawa was home to McLaughlin Carriage Works, at one time the largest manufacturer of horse-drawn buggies and sleighs in the British Empire. Colonel Sam McLaughlin inherited a thriving family business, but Sam was a disruptor. He took nothing for granted. In 1907, he took a huge risk. He decided that the future was in horseless carriages. People surely thought he had lost his mind. As GM Canada President Stephen Carlyle recently observed, horse-drawn carriages were the way to get around town at the turn of the century, and they cost just 5% of what cars were going for at that time. But Sam saw the potential for a transformation. He built a cross-border partnership with General Motors, and when McLaughlin Carriage Works eventually became GM Canada, he succeeded in laying the groundwork for the GM commitment to Ontario that continues to enrich our province to this day. The transition from horses to engines took 50 years, But by the middle of the century, there was a car in practically every driveway. Spurred on by our changing climate, our crowded planet, and the pace of technological discovery, everything is changing again. And again, Ontario is putting itself in the driver's seat, driving that change. The difference is that this time, we don't have 50 years, and we have so much more competition. So in 2016, for the next transportation revolution to come from Ontario and not some other place, it's going to take more than one brazen Sam McLaughlin. It requires all of you, and it requires a government to play a leading role. It's why we're entering into partnerships with businesses of the future, and in partnership with the OCE, creating the Connected Vehicle, Automated Vehicle program. And it's why we're introducing a cap-and-trade program that aligns with our emissions targets and reinvests every dollar in green projects that support innovation and lower our emissions. Cap-and-trade starts in January. As a down payment, we launched the Green Investment Fund this year. The fund gives a good indication of how cap-and-trade will support entrepreneurs, businesses, and households in coming together to make Ontario more efficient, more competitive, and more globally relevant. And $74 million of the funding is being distributed through the partnership with the OCE. This new program will allow large industry stakeholders to develop and adopt leading-edge technologies that reduce their emissions, and it will also help us to meet our near-term GHG reduction targets and make an investment towards our aggressive future reduction goals. Avec le plafonnement et l'échange, l'Ontario continuera à jouer un rôle de chef de file sur le changement climatique et à créer plus d'emplois et plus de croissance dans l'économie sobre en carbone que nous bâtissons ensemble. We're also building on your strengths through the new Business Growth Initiative. BGI is a $400 million program with 3 focus areas. First, helping more businesses scale up and grow into globally competitive exporters. Second, creating a culture driven by innovation. And finally, modernizing business regulations. It includes the Advanced Manufacturing Consortium and the Clean Tech Equity Fund. And to solve the scaling up challenge that sees too many of our homegrown ideas go elsewhere to grow, to actually become change-making innovations, we're putting $30 million towards our Going Global export strategy. This is supported by the trade missions that I've led to India and China that Michael referenced, where entrepreneurial Ontario businesses like DataWind are seizing the huge opportunities in those markets. On Saturday, I'm leaving for Israel, leading a trade mission to the Startup Nation on behalf of the Startup Province. The trip will build on our existing partnerships, of course, but will also increase our exchange of people, goods, and ideas, and identify new ways of supporting your growth. I'm also looking forward to telling Ontario's story in Israel because, as I hope I've made clear to you, and as all of you prove every day in the work that you do, we have a great story to tell. I've only really scratched the surface today of the opportunities for entrepreneurs in Ontario and the way our government is working to support you in pursuing them. Over the rest of the conference, I know you'll learn about exciting businesses and opportunities and all the programs to connect you with capital, talent, and customers so you can launch the next great Ontario businesses. So, to conclude, I want to tell you why I am so invested in our success and in your success. It's the same answer I would give you if you asked me why jobs and growth are my top priority. It's because the only reason I'm in politics is to help the people of the province to build more opportunity and more security in their lives and in the lives of their loved ones. A good job and a growing economy is the best way that I can do that. It's not something I do alone. You are the job creators. And it goes even beyond that because you don't just make stuff or products, you actually make and drive change. The innovations that you bring to market, whether in communications or renewable energy, life sciences, clean tech, that change people's lives, and they do that for the better. L'innovation, cela veut dire bien que des nouveaux produits, c'est ce qui nous permet d'améliorer les conditions de vie de nos familles. So at the same time that we're building an internationally competitive economy with good jobs, we're building a better life for ourselves and for our families. And that is what it is all about. That's why I'm so committed to helping you succeed. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you for being here, and thank you for making the connections that you are going to make over the duration of this conference. We are very, very committed to continuing to work with you. Merci. Miigwech.
Thank you, Premier Wynne. Your strong vision for Ontario and how we can work together to build a province of opportunity and prosperity for everyone is inspiring. We look forward to working with you and your government as we continue to create the best possible environment for encouraging entrepreneurship and innovation in Ontario. We also have with us two Made in Ontario highly successful entrepreneurs who would like to say a few words of thanks to the Premier. Miriam Turk is co-founder and CEO of Clear Blue Technologies, winner of OCE's 2015 Mine to Market Award. The smart off-grid company uses solar and wind power paired with advanced cloud-based software to deliver 500 off-grid systems installed in 18 countries around the world. Qi Wang is founder of Eightfold Technologies, the developer of the Smart Chair platform, a device that turns everyday power wheelchairs into autonomous self-driving vehicles controlled by a smartphone. The company is one of the finalists in this year's Accessibility Tech Pitch competition and is exhibiting at the Accessibility Innovation Showcase. How's that for a mouthful? Please come forward, Miriam and Qi.
Good afternoon, everyone. Isn't this amazing? Look at how this room has grown over the last few years. Clear Blue Technologies started its journey with an idea on the back of a napkin, actually sitting across the table from the Ontario Centres of Excellence, working with them on the idea and concept. Today, it's 4 years later, and we are very proud to say that we actually have grown to a point where we have customers in over 21 countries around the world. And without the support of the Ontario government's focused programs around innovation, we wouldn't be where we are today, and I don't think I'd be exaggerating to say that we probably wouldn't even exist. We've benefited tremendously from the support of the Ontario government at OCE in their research and innovation programs, but more importantly, they have focused their energies around the stages of research that help to bring technologies to commercialization where they really start to benefit the economy, and helping to work with companies like ours to have the private sector actually bring those technologies to the marketplace. By supporting research programs with colleges such as George Brown and Centennial College, and through its focus on innovation partnership with businesses such as ourselves, we've been able to ensure that various different startup companies, including Clear Blue Technologies, are able to transition that critical valley of death where most startups fail. In so doing, Ontario's investments in innovation have had the desired effect of helping the economy grow, helping us get jobs, and benefiting productivity. And Premier Wynne, I would like to thank you for your leadership and for your support of everyone in this room to help make that happen.
Hi, my name is Qi Wang. I'm the president and founder of Eightfold Technologies. 2 years ago, we were just two disabled engineers who had an idea and a very rough prototype that could improve the lives of people in power wheelchairs. Thanks to the support of your government, Premier Wynne, and organizations like Ontario Centres of Excellence, we've been able to create a product that gives me and others like me who uses a power wheelchair a greater level of independence. Back then, our prototype consisted of a bunch of electronic parts loosely placed in a diaper box mounted at the back of a power chair. Now, our product is turning ordinary power wheelchair into smart devices that can be remotely controlled by a smartphone or tablet. It has the potential to improve the lives of everyone who uses a power wheelchair by reducing the amount of attendant care they require in their daily lives. With the financial support of OCE, along with IRAP and NSERC, we were able to turn our prototype in a diaper box into a market-ready product today. On behalf of not only my company, but entrepreneurs across Ontario, I would like to thank you, Premier Nguyen, and OCE for believing in, supporting, and helping us develop our product. That belief has truly made a difference. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Fantastic. Well done.